For most of history, power has been imagined the same way. Vaults filled with gold, ships loaded with treasure, and kings measuring wealth by weight. It feels obvious. Whoever has the gold must be in charge. But history tells a different story. Gold didn't make empires powerful. In many cases, the people with the most gold weren't the ones in control. The real power came from something less visible, something less shiny. Systems. Gold feels powerful because it's physical. You can hold it, count it, hide it. For centuries, rulers believed that stockpiling gold meant security. But gold by itself doesn't move armies, it doesn't collect taxes, and it doesn't guarantee obedience. Gold is passive. It only matters when it can be used. And that depends on who controls the systems around it. Money is not just an object, it's an agreement. An agreement that says, this will be accepted, this can be exchanged, and this will be honored later. Those agreements don't come from metal. They come from institutions, enforcement, and trust. Without those, gold is just something heavy that everyone wants, but no one knows how to use safely. Look at global trade before the modern era. Silver and gold flowed toward places that produced real goods. China didn't dominate trade because it hoarded gold. It dominated because it produced things the world wanted: silk, porcelain, tea. European traders didn't gain leverage by owning gold. They gained leverage by controlling shipping routes, ports, and contracts. The metal followed the network, not the other way around. Up to this point, gold has been the symbol, but silver was the reality. Silver was what merchants used, what wages were paid in, and what taxes were collected with. And the clearest lesson about the limits of precious metal comes from the empire that had more silver than anyone else: Spain. In the 16th century, Spain struck what looked like an economic miracle. Massive silver mines in the Americas, ship after ship crossing the Atlantic. For a brief moment, Spain looked unstoppable. But the silver didn't create a strong system. Spain spent silver faster than it could organize production. It imported goods instead of building industries. It financed wars instead of infrastructure. Spain struggled to build solid financial institutions and control inflation. All of that silver created dependency and complacency. The silver passed through Spain and settled elsewhere. Metal without control proved fragile. Now compare Spain to places with far less metal, but more control. The Dutch Republic, Venice, and later, Britain. They didn't rely on hoards. They built reliable ports, shipping insurance, credit markets, accounting systems, and legal frameworks. They reduced risk and transaction costs. They made trade predictable, and they standardized trust. Gold mattered, but only because these systems made it usable. There's an important distinction here. Wealth is not the same as power. Wealth is owning resources. Power is controlling how those resources move. A state can be rich and weak. Another can be poorer and dominant. States with less gold but better infrastructure often outperformed richer rivals, because power lives in circulation, not storage. Who sets the rules, who enforces contracts, and who guarantees payment? Those are systems, not metals. As finance evolved, the role of gold shrank even further. Paper claims replaced metal, banks created credit, and trust replaced transport. Gold didn't disappear, but it stopped being the engine. It became a reference, a benchmark. What mattered more was who issued money, who stabilized markets, and who absorbed shocks. Gold no longer powered the machine, it just sat inside it. And yet, gold never leaves the story. This is why gold panics repeat. In moments of uncertainty, people rush back to it. They rush toward what feels solid. Not because history supports it, but because gold feels permanent in a world that feels unstable. But history shows a pattern. Power doesn't come from holding metal. It comes from rules, infrastructure, institutions, and credibility. Gold reacts to power. It doesn't create it. Every major shift in power came from systems adapting, not vaults filling. When we look back, it's tempting to simplify history into treasure stories. But the deeper pattern is always the same. Empires rose when they controlled trade routes and information flow. They also efficiently created infrastructure, financial systems, and legal trust. Empires decline when those systems break. Gold was part of the picture, but it was never the center. Gold feels powerful because it's visible. Systems feel boring because they often go unnoticed. However, systems matter because they work. And history rewards what works, not what shines. It rewards what functions. Gold wasn't the real power, the systems around it were. And once you see that, history starts to look very different.